Welcome to True Life Investing with Joel. We've got a great show for you today. True life all day, every day. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe for the truth on all top current news dealing with your money. So today we've got President Biden and Bernie Sanders who have made some substantial changes concerning your health care to lower cost for all individuals. Trump is leading Biden in 6 out of 7 of the closest key swing states for the 2024 presidential election and is set to raise a record-breaking $43 million at a fundraiser, beating previous records set by Joe Biden just this past weekend at $26 million. Biden and the White House are close to finalizing a menthol cigarette ban. This is bringing huge regulations to the cigarette industry. There's a lot of opposition from a lot of people. This represents billions of dollars in our economy that people will lose out on. But the Biden administration is also making it harder to actually fire federal workers, as Trump promised that if he becomes president, he would clean house. So the Biden administration is putting things into effect to go ahead and make sure that their people that they've put in are safe. We have Ty Cobb, who says that the 11th Circuit may remove the judge who is actually proceeding over the Trump's document case. This is a big move because so many delays that have already happened thus far. This could be a game changer in the Trump case. And right now, they're trying to get Trump on something so that he cannot run for president. So concerning healthcare costs, President Biden and Senator Bernie Sanders, they are set to speak at the White House and going over the new healthcare initiatives. They've been working to bring down healthcare cost. The cost of for inhalers has been exponentially high compared to other countries. Biden said, Bernie, you and I have been fighting this for 25 years. Finally, we beat Big Pharma. When it comes to your healthcare cost, right now we are facing some of the highest cost ever. Sanders joined other Democrats in the Senate in a letter to drug manufacturers calling for the review for prices for breathing treatment devices, the inhalers. This is just one case where a prescription inhaler came with a price tag of literally $645 for Americans. That's 13 times higher than consumers in the United Kingdom were paying. The out-of-pocket new cost for inhalers will now top out at just $35 for the U.S. patients. This is a big win when it comes to the overall drug industry. Right now, the pharmaceutical industry makes so much money right now. We all know it. There's many people that, a lot of people, they basically live off of medication. But with that, I'm glad that the administration is putting some very positive things towards that to help you and I when it comes to our pharmaceutical needs. This is a positive change. I'm glad that they did it. And don't forget, we want to get to 100 likes for the channel while we're doing the stream so we can do weekly giveaways. We couldn't do this without you. We love and appreciate you very, very much. Now, are you ready for another president? Because polls and surveys are showing that we may have one this year. Donald Trump is set to raise a record-breaking $43 million at a fundraiser this weekend at his home Mar-a-Lago in Florida. Now, right now, the record has just been set literally within the past couple of weeks by President Joe Biden, who raised $26 million when he had a celebrity event. At this celebrity event, let me know what you think about this. It was a $100,000 a plate dinner. That the only way that you could be a part of this was to pay $100,000 in their fundraising efforts for this 2024 campaign. This compared to what Trump is going to do, this is almost half. So it's a big, huge hit to the Democrats when it comes to being able to say we've had the record for the highest fundraising event ever. Also, former President Trump is leading President Biden in 6 of 7 of the closest swing states, according to the Wall Street Journal. Per the survey, there is leaning dissatisfaction with the economy and swirling questions over Biden's age. Biden right now, 81, 82, somewhere around there. He's the oldest president that we've ever had in the history of America. Trump is about 4 or 5 years younger than him, but still, or maybe 2 to 3 years younger. But right now, Trump has a multi-point lead in each battleground except for Wisconsin, where Biden leads by 3 points in a three-way race with independent Robert F. Kennedy. Now, one of the things that everybody is trying to understand is, what is Robert F. Kennedy doing? But this is something, I've got a video for you, that when it comes to where people are at in terms of the president, some are for Biden, some are for Trump. This is something that the Wisconsin voters, I have this video to show you, they are letting everybody know right now that enough is enough, that we need some change, that right now we have a president who literally is, there's a lot of things that are happening in terms of the border crisis, in terms of when it comes to giving money to illegals and things like that, that a lot of people are not happy with. Let me know how you feel. I have this video to show you. I'm going to share my screen right now over what people in Wisconsin are feeling. Let me know if you can relate to this. Let me know if you can, if you feel what they're feeling in terms of the election and where our president and leadership are at this time.
This looks like a bad sign for President Biden. We saw a similar thing in Michigan. You somehow told NPR that this is a good sign. Explain.
Well, the folks who voted uninstructed in the Democratic primary, these are Democratic voters, and they're casting ballots now to send a message that they want to see change, not in November in who's president, but right now in policy. They want to see an enduring, just peace, and they want to see an end to the humanitarian crisis, and folks want to see hostages go home. Those are all things that President Biden's working for. On the other side, we had 76,000 people in Wisconsin who voted for Nikki Haley, not because of a policy argument they were making, but because they cannot bring themselves to cast a ballot for Donald Trump. So in both sides, there were folks who didn't vote for the nominees. On the Democrat.
So with that, you see that right now, even in the state of Wisconsin, a lot of people are upset. A lot of people are upset across the United States where things are at. The point of things now is, who's going to be the right president for you? Who's going to make sure that you get taken care of, that you feel that you're the priority? Because again, too, we are the American people. We vote them in. When it comes to Biden's reelection, Biden will need to retain every blue, they say the blue wall of states. We're talking about Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. These are states that he flipped actually in 2020 to win the election. Trump holds a 2-point lead right now over Michigan and a 3-point lead in Pennsylvania. And though they each have a significant, each of those states has a significant portion of undecided voters. With how they've been able to survey, right now, Trump is winning in those states. Now, Biden also carried Georgia, Nevada, and Arizona in the last election, all of which have a stronger Trump supporter. They're supporting Trump now more than ever. According to polls, Trump leads in Georgia by 3 points, in Nevada by 4 points, and Arizona by 5 points. These are big states. When you're talking about swing states, mostly when you think of states like California, for a long time has always voted blue, Democrat. You think about Tennessee. Tennessee has always voted red, long time. Texas has always voted red. Now, Florida has been a flip-flop. They've been calling it purple for a long time. But now you can see that Florida with Ron DeSantis has moved more red. So when it comes to our next election, this is something that we're going to see a lot of changes take place in where states that used to go for Biden may be flipping over to Trump. And this election is going to be real close. Let me know your thoughts in the chat. I appreciate every single one of you watching. Appreciate all the likes. Remember, let's get to 100. Let's get some hearts in the chat. Love and appreciate every single one of you. So the Biden administration right now is preparing to soon finalize a highly anticipated standards targeting menthol cigarettes. There's a lot of opposition right now from small businesses. Right now, this would represent over $2 billion in revenue within the U.S. that they would lose if this law comes into place. Now, the regulations would pretty much ban the product, but the FDA right now is trying to figure out ways to keep it without really keeping it, if that makes sense. According to the NACS, the rule would lead to a reduction of $72,285 a year in non-tobacco sundry sales and $160,000 in tobacco product sales for your typical convenience stores. So your 7-Elevens, your Q's, your Quick Stops, hey, even Buc-ee's. They I don't know. Does anybody know Buc-ee's? Has anybody ever been to a Buc-ee's? They are phenomenal. You go in there, never have to wait on the restroom. They've always got hot, fresh food. There's never a line. People love it, but they would experience a huge drop in revenue because they aren't able to sell those cigarettes as well. So now on to right now, President Biden is getting nervous. His administration is getting nervous. Why do you say that? Because they're trying to make it harder to fire federal workers because Trump is promising that is when he becomes president, that he would clean house. The Biden administration actually implemented a new rule that's making it more difficult for federal workers to be fired, especially when it comes to those that were just recently hired. The Biden administration announced they are going to try to protect 2.2 million civil servants from what they're calling political interference of what Trump is trying to say. They say all for the interest of America. Now, I don't know about y'all, but you remember that they came out and they said, we need to bring more IRS agents on. We need to bring on and spend $80 billion. I'm going to say that again, $80 billion to bring on 30,000 new IRS agents. It's very funny that when it comes to the whole budget of the United States, you don't know what they spend their money on. They don't give you a list of where things are at. They don't say we spent this much on this and it's line by line detailed. They're giving grants, they're spending money here, spending money there. But do you remember the law that they implemented a couple years ago, or maybe last year? If they want to know if you send $600 over Cash App or Venmo, the government wants to know that. They want to know your details, but when it comes to actually them being held accountable, they don't want to be held accountable, and they're not right now. Guys, we spend trillions of dollars, and every single year we have to do a new budget, and we just keep spending more, and our deficit keeps growing. Right now, we're over $30 trillion in debt, and there's no sign of it coming down. This is scary. When you look at the national debt, there's a calculator online, and I'm going to share this with you. It's actually pretty mind-blowing. So I'm going to share this with you on my screen. This is something that everybody should know about because this affects how we vote. But look at this right here. We're $34.6 trillion in debt. When you think about per citizen, when you think about how much each per citizen is accounted for in the revenue and things like that, it's ridiculous. And look, it just keeps going up. It's not coming down. They're not talking about bringing it down. What's going to happen whenever this keeps going up and up and up? We used to have debt limits. We used to have where they tried not to spend, tried to get into a surplus. But right now, as you can see, just in us watching it, there's literally hundreds of thousands. Literally, guys, check it out. 1, 2, 3. In 3 seconds, $100,000 was added to the national debt. This is scary stuff. This is not right. When it comes to our elected officials, they need to be held accountable for this. This is something that whenever we take surveys or we do anything like that, we need to make sure that we are saying that we got to get things right. So when it comes to the things that Trump wants to do, term limits, things like that, you have people like, I don't know who's a fan of Nancy Pelosi, but this is one thing that kind of makes me think twice. She makes $179,000 a year. You know what her net worth is? $196 million. If you if for 50 years, if she made the same amount of money for 50 years and never spent a dime of that $179,000, she would only have almost $9 million in the bank. How did she get to 196 million? The investing that there's people that literally have Reddit posts that watch how much she spends on the stock market and what stock she buys, what stock she sells, because she's a winner, they say, when it comes to the stock market, because she knows, is this right? Is it okay for our elected officials to be into the stock market, be, they have lobbyists that'll come in, take them out to dinner, take them golfing. Hey, we need this bill to pass. We just proposed this bill. Things get passed. When they say, let's cut the fat out of bills, whenever they're trying to pass any bill, the last bill that they were trying to pass was, it was around $100 billion. It was for the border, right? When they looked into the bill, 20 billion of it was for the border. 80 billion of it was for Ukraine. Now, yeah, they were talking about a border, but it wasn't our borders, which is not right. That's our tax dollars, but they're labeling it the United States border. It's very manipulative, very deceitful when it comes to the politicians. It's not right. It's disgusting on how they treat our money, the money that we pay taxes into, every single paycheck that we get. That's not right. They need to be held accountable. But remember, the Biden administration wouldn't be doing this if they didn't think that Trump had a good chance of winning. So another thing that people are trying to keep Trump out from being able to even run is the documents case. So right now, Ty Cobb predicts that the 11th Circuit Court would remove Judge Eileen Cannon from the case involving former President Trump and his mishandling of the classified documents at his estate in Mar-a-Lago. So Trump took some documents home with him after he was president. Every president does this. They even showed President Biden doing this. This guy literally had documents in his garage, in the back of one of his cars. And right now they're trying to, take him to court. They're trying to put this case against him so that he's not able to run. But it's very hard to prosecute a former president, especially when the sitting president has done it. Past presidents have done it. But what are they trying to do? They're trying to make the case harder for Trump to win. They're putting delays in there. They're trying to not have the decision come into play. The 11th Circuit Court said, y'all need to make a change or we're going to make a change for you. They're saying that Trump is largely being prosecuted under the Espionage Act. Yeah, we're like, really? Which prohibits the willful retention of national defense information. He is also charged with obstruction of justice for seeking to conceal the records from authorities who demanded their return. So with that, we have a big election right now, presidential election. Stuff happens every presidential election year. What happened last time? Well, we had a pandemic. And what did it do? It literally chose who was the president, because at the time, when they did the survey, most people would have chosen President Trump if we had not gone through the pandemic. Let me know what you think in the comments, because this is something that, as we bring you all this current top news, and as you're being updated every single day, you're hopefully starting to see a broader picture, not just of what you hear on the news, because I promise you, if you go to Fox, you're going to hear a very conservative Republican view. If you go to CNN, they will take the same story and then it'll be changed, and it's a very leftist Democratic view. That's why you come here. We want to give an unbiased view, because you experience day to day your life whenever you are going through your life in putting gas in your car, the bills that come in, the Social Security that you receive, if you're on retirement, if you have SSI, SSDI, if you are have any food assistance, SNAP, anything like that, you experience real life. A lot of these politicians don't. Let me tell you this: a person who has $190+ million in net worth doesn't live a normal life. They don't experience things like the average person does. I didn't grow up with much. We didn't have much money. And I remember being on food assistance whenever I was in school. I remember that we didn't have, there was times where whenever we went to our cupboards, we didn't have food. That is where a lot of low income families feel. So where is their life at? How is life for them better with where things are at? How is it fair that you have other people that are coming from other countries getting more assistance than you are. This is where things have to change. We have to make a change. I have a very eye-opening video that's coming out at 6 p.m. Central Time tonight, guys, that's going to show you an unbiased view of people from the left, people from the right, of talking about where things are at. When it comes, hey, Deanna Scott, thanks for the hearts. Appreciate you. Lula Malone, just want to give shout outs to those in the chat. Whenever it comes to taking care of American people first, we need to hear those words. If you're of the Christian faith, they say this: out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. And I believe that. So whatever you're saying, it's coming from your heart. And whenever you hear politicians and they're not saying America first, they're not saying children first, seniors first, families first, when you don't hear those words, then that just tells you where things are at. So when it comes to the whole USA, when it comes to our country, when it comes to making sure that the right people are in office, guys, let me tell you this. There are a lot of things I don't like on the Republican side and a lot of things I don't like on the Democrat side. A lot of people say, like, where do you side at? I side independent. I side where we need to have somebody that's going to live out what this country was founded upon, of freedom of speech, making sure that we have that there's no taxation without representation, making sure that our tax dollars aren't being funneled to just politicians, career politicians. There's a reason why we need term limits. It doesn't make any sense that the president can only be in office for 2 4-year terms, but when it comes to a senator, they can be in office for 50 years. And the senators and the congressmen are the ones who make the laws. So there's a lot of corruptness. There's a lot of things that need to change. And I promise you, if you told this, I love what Warren Buffett said. He said, you want to fix the deficit? You want to make sure that that the Congress people, senators, president, all of them actually take care of the American people and we stop getting more into debt? They don't get paid unless we have a balanced budget. They don't get paid unless we had a surplus budget or we're actually not spending more than we're taking in. Let me know in the chat what you think. I truly believe that whatever's going to happen in this presidential election, we need to have a balanced, fair Congress. We need to have both sides involved. I preferably would love, like, I'm not a fan of Republican House, Republican Senate, Republican presidential. I'm a fan of Republican. One has the House, one has the Senate, and then one has the president, because then it's balanced. It keeps people in check. When one party has too much, then they feel like they can do whatever they want and they don't have to earn your vote. They have to earn our votes, guys. That's what matters. That's what makes sense. That's what this country was founded upon. We need to make sure to hold our elected officials accountable. This is going to be a huge presidential election, and making sure that our people are taken care of first. Appreciate everybody in the chat. I want to just say thank you for all your support, for all the likes, for all the hearts. I want to give a quick thumbs up to give us some, yes, fireworks, give y'all some hearts. Just appreciate every single one of y'all. Remember, this is the Daily Show at 4 p.m., bringing you the top news that affects you, affects our daily lives. And I just want to say thank you to everybody. We couldn't do this without you. Y'all have a wonderful night, and I will see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. Take care.